A very warm welcome to today's webinar from the UK Climate Resilience Programme. So this is our first webinar after a summer break. We've had a good number of registrations, so thank you very much for taking the time to be here. As always, it's great to see so much interest in the work of the programme. My name is Kate Lonsdale. I'm one of the two climate resilience champions for the programme, along with Professor Suraj Desai, and we're based at the University of Leeds. So the timing for today is as follows. I'll start by briefly introducing the programme that's running this webinar series, and then I'll pass over to Professor Nick Pidgeon. So Nick's Professor of Environmental Psychology and Risk at the University of Cardiff and Director of the Understanding Risk Research Group based in the university. And we also have Christina Dembski, who's from the research team, who will be available for the discussion. And the focus of today's webinar is on understanding the UK perceptions of climate risk and resilience. And this is the work of the Resil Risk project, which has been funded by the programme. And then we'll have a response from Francis Pimenta, who's Head of Climate Adaptation Policy at the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, on how the findings of this research can inform their work and that of other government departments. Then we'll have about 20 minutes, hopefully, for questions and discussion, so please send in your questions. And I'm sure we're all very used to webinars by now, but these are our rules of engagement. So we're using the Q&A function rather than the chat for questions, and we encourage you to add questions throughout the presentation. You don't have to wait till the end. And there's also, in the Q&A function, an upvoting opportunity. So if you see a question that you particularly like, we encourage you to upvote, and then that will move to the top. That will make it easier for me to spot. As participants, you'll be muted unless you're enabled by me. The webinar and the audio and slides will be shared after the event through our YouTube link. So this webinar is being recorded. And if you have any tech problems we might be able to help with, then put a message into the chat. My colleague will be able to help you. So just to say a little bit about the programme, the vision of the programme is to enhance the UK's resilience to climate variability and change through interdisciplinary research and innovation on climate risk, adaptation and developing climate services, so through working with stakeholders and end users to ensure that the research is useful and usable. So I guess what we're trying to emphasise here is that the programme is not just about producing high quality research, but it's also about trying to make sure that the research findings are relevant, useful and usable. The programme has three main themes. So the first one is around climate risks, so getting a better understanding of the climate related risks. And this means linking information about climate hazards to information about vulnerability and exposure of the things that we're interested in, for example, communities or structures or agricultural systems. And secondly, it's around managing the climate related risks through adaptation. And finally, it's about working with partners to co-develop climate services. So that's bringing in the climate information and knowledge into planning and decision-making processes. So the webinar today, I guess, is mostly focused on the first of these. So it's about improving our understanding of how climate risk is perceived by the public and understanding support for adaptation and resilience, and thus how to improve how we communicate climate risk and make the case for action. And I encourage you to go to our website to find out more about the programme and about the other work that's funded through the programme. So without any more ado, I'm going to pass over to Professor Nick Pidgeon. And Nick, I guess you'd like to share your slides, and I'll stop sharing at this point.